JB, so good to see you. Getting back to basics today. What is IRMAA and how does it affect what you will pay for Medicare Part B? If the Social Security Administration considers you a high income beneficiary, you'll pay a surcharge known as the income related monthly adjustment amount. And how high is high income?
Hi, Erin. So great to see you today. With IRMAA, it's one of those things where if you're a married couple filing jointly and your income gets up above $218,000, then the government assumes that you are wealthy for IRMAA purposes. And then your
Mhm.
Medicare premiums go up. So you have to be very, very conscious of having your premiums go up because if your income goes up above the threshold, there's not a whole lot you can do to fix things.
Mhm. And just lay it out for me. How does this relate to Medicare Part B?
So, with your Medicare Part B, if you think about if someone has their income and it is just going into the next higher bracket, so in this case, over $218,000, 2 years later, you will get something in the mail from the IRS and they will say that your Medicare premiums have gone up. You do have the opportunity to appeal that, but the best thing to do is through active planning, help it so that you don't go up above those income thresholds and then you don't have extra work to do to try to get those premiums down because this is for if both people are over age 65. Some people might say, well, what's $72 a month? Well, multiply that times two. Now you're up to almost $2,000 for a married couple. And that's
Mhm.
just the first level. If you go
Mhm.
up above those different levels, it goes up dramatically from there.
Right, and you bring up a really important point, which is that IRMAA is a cliff. If you make $1 too much, you're in that entirely different bracket.
Yes, and with the Irma cliff, it's like unlike other things, like if you don't take out enough RMDs, you have the opportunity to fix things and they'll reduce the penalty. Once that cliff is reached and once you're into the next year, there's not a whole lot you can do to change things. So if your income is $1 over the limit, you're going to be paying all the extra Irma premiums for your Medicare.
And you had mentioned, JB, about the filing status. Some people almost trying to game the system, but turns out to be a mistake.
Yes. There are people who will say, well, I save extra money on my taxes for this or that. Or there might be parents or grandparents who have children who are trying to qualify for financial aid for college. Oh, well, maybe what if the accountant says, why don't you file separately? Just different kinds of strategies. And sometimes they can work for other things. Sometimes they're gaming the system. Just at the end of the day, when it comes to IRMA, they're in black and white. If you're married but you're filing separately and your income's above 109,000, you will pay $649
Yeah.
a month for your Medicare. So
Mhm.
it it usually is not a good idea to do married filing jointly. We are not tax experts as we don't file tax returns, but as far as IRMA is concerned, they're going to ding you if you file jointly and if you file separately and your income's above $109,000.
Yeah, it's a lot to consider. Proper planning is so important. I mean, when we talk about retirement planning, but especially as part of this 2 year look back, which you kind of touched on. So, walk me through some examples that could bump up your income because of a one time event.
So we have had folks who we've worked with for years who had rental properties. They got tired of working with the rental properties, and as a lot of people do. And in retirement, they just decided, hey, we're going to sell the rental house and we're going to pocket the income, we'll pay the capital gains, and we'll move on. Well, about 4 years ago, we had a couple who did that. Um, they did it without us knowing about it. And unfortunately, they went into those higher IRMA brackets just from selling a rental home.
Mm,
The rental home had been depreciated, and you think, okay, you buy a house 20 years ago, let's say for $150,000, you sell it now for $400,000. That's a lot of gain. So they did not plan on that. So their premiums went up significantly for their Medicare.
right. So let's say I wanted to walk into your office today and talk through some strategies to reduce my IRMA. What should I be considering?
So the biggest things that we like to help encourage people to look at are look at Roth conversions. There are so many great ideas and so many good reasons to do Roth IRA conversions. You pay the taxes up front, and if the money seasons for at least 5 years, you enjoy that tax-free income forever. This is another reason, because as you get older, if you have those pre-tax dollars, there's a lot of folks who might be 65 who say, hey, I'm nowhere near that $218,000 threshold. Couple things. What if they change the rules in the future and maybe you're in that threshold?
Mm-hmm.
Also, as we age, we have to take more and more money out of our pre-tax retirement accounts. So you don't have to worry about that with the Roth, but you do with those pre-tax 401ks, 403bs,
Right.
IRAs, etc.
Mm-hmm. You also wanted to mention health savings accounts. These also help with that tax-free money.
They do. The other added benefit for those, you can let that money continue to grow. Once you are in retirement, you may say, well, hey, I'm retired. What do I do with this money? Well, it's tax-free. Use it to pay medical bills.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, I don't know hardly anybody who has zero medical bills, especially in retirement. So
Right.
this is another way that you can utilize money and have it help to not only pay for taxes, but help to fuel your living expenses in retirement.
Mm-hmm. And you mentioned those required minimum distributions. That's where we bring in this strategy, the qualified charitable distribution.
The QCDs are fantastic. As long as you have that eligible charity and where you're sending the money to, and then they can work with the custodian where your finances are managed, where the money is held, you can do a qualified charitable distribution, leave you out of the mix. Let's say it's a $10,000 distribution, and instead of it impacting your Medicare premiums, if it goes directly to the charity via QCD, that helps you so that you don't trigger any kind of IRMAA. So those are a great way to help charities. You're going to be giving money to charity anyway.
Yep.
Why not consider a QCD?
A win-win-win all the way around. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to explain this. IRMAA can be a surprise for a lot of people. So JB, if somebody would like to talk through some of those strategies they can put in place today, what's the best way to reach you?
Best way to reach us is to give us a call at 803-939-4848, or you can visit us online at BeckettFinancialGroup.com, and we'd be happy to talk with you and help you solve some of these needs.
Great. JB, thank you.
Thank you, Erin.